Alright guys, I'm doing a tier making video for the attackers in Rainbow Six Siege, starting from God tier and then going all the way down to do people really use this one. So starting off with God tier, I'm going to put in Ace, who's like the newest addition into the attackers. He's a hard breach and he's just great in every way. He is super strong in his weapon. He's got smoke grenades, which can mean that, you know, the hard breach also fulfills the smoke category, and that's great. And also means he's got a really strong gadget in this hard breach. It's like a mix between Thermite and Hibana. He's got 3 of them and it's like very difficult to trick. That's why he's in the God category. Moving on, we got also Zofia, who again is like is always universally used by pretty much every team. You always see a Zofia. She's got the impacts to destroy the utility. She's got a claymore. She's got a good gun. She's also got the stuns to deny bandit tricks or to deny ADSs and burn them out. So Zofia's also up there. In the God category as well, we got also Maverick, who is probably can counter the most stuff on defense. Like any wall denial, he just counters. He just doesn't give a crap about it, and he just goes straight through it. And he's got nades as well, so he can just destroy any shields as well or any maestro cams. He's just a really versatile operator, and yes, I think he's definitely up there in the top tier, as well as also Ashe. I think Ashe, especially right now, with the way that people are using utility, yeah, like you need the explosives, you need the flashbangs. She's fast, she's got a great gun. What's there not to like about her? So that's why I think she is, one of the strongest operators at the moment, especially with Zofia. Lots of people are using both Ashe and Zofia, and that's, you're going to burn through a lot of the attackers, the defenders' shields with that combination. So those are my picks for the God tier. Moving on to strong, we got Hibana, definitely, and Thermite. I mean, they are, again, hard breaches. You need at least one hard breach in each, in most situations. Hibana and Thermite are sort of like the extreme versions, like of Ace is like the mix between both of them. And there are some situations where Hibana is better than Ace and Thermite's better than Ace, but the most situations Ace is probably the most well-rounded. In situations like you need to open hatches, like an attack onto the basement, Hibana is probably best. If you need to open a wall and you really don't want it to be like impact tricked or something, probably like Thermite's the best. So that's why they're in the strong category. Also, they all bring flashbangs to burn the ADSs, and that's really important as well. Moving on, we got Sledge. Well-rounded, like literally brings nades. His hammer is really like effective with just opening up holes, rotations, opening up the floor, and I would say Buck would have been better, but Buck lost his nades, so that means Sledge is currently the go-to instead. He's the go-to nade operator, and Buck is no longer really seen too much in competitive play as much, but he still has his place. So Sledge definitely strong, as well as Thatcher as well. Thatcher is, although he got a recent nerf, really strong operator. He can help open walls. He can help destroy things like maestro cameras or disable ADSs to destroy shields. Claymore. So yeah, just a really useful operator to be used on most maps, but not necessarily always a must pick. And what else do we have on strong? I'm probably going to say Monty as well. Like Monty, depending on the team, depending on who can play the Monty can be a really strong tool to be used on the attack to push defenders out really quickly. So I'd say Monty is also up there as well in the strong category. He also brings smokes. He's got a secondary hard breach gadget as well, which I'm excited to see how people use it more. But Monty can like really just push people up, push up to a defender and always win like the one-on-one engagement normally. Indecent, we've got probably I'm actually going to put Nomad back up to strong. I think Nomad is like she can knock off flanks and she's flashbangs. I'd say depending on how you use her and depending on the map, she can be a really strong operator. So she's going to be up there as well. And to be honest, Zero, I don't really know how he's going to play too much in competitive because he's not in competitive yet. But, you know, he's got the nades. So if you don't need the sledgehammer but you still want the nades, he's there. You've also got 4 flank cams that you can deploy really easily. You've got the ability to pop mirror windows, destroy ADSs. So I'm interested to see how he'll be played as well. And maybe Capitao as well. Just because Capitao, really strong operator. But, you know, if Wulmai's in play, less useful. But especially when Wulmai's banned, it means that he can really easily, with no counters, just clear out defenders from positions. But right now, because you need explosives, he is less useful, but he still has a really strong place in a lot of maps. So he's there in strong as well. Moving on to decent, I'm going to say Kali. Just because if you're good with Kali, like for example Corey from our team, she can be a really strong operator. You can one-shot people, that's an instant down, and you know you've got 3 almost explosives to get rid of utility, which is really strong. You've got Claymore as well, but at the same time, her gun can be quite hard to use. If you miss your first shot, you're going to lose the fight. So I'd probably say Thatcher is still better, but a lot of the time Thatcher's banned and Kali is probably the next go-to. So Kali's in the decent category here. We also got Buck, who's like the Sledge, but I sort of mentioned it before. Not as good a version of Sledge, primarily because he doesn't have the nades anymore. But if he has the nades, he is much better than Sledge in the way that he can quite safely open up floors. Sledge, you have to stand exactly where you want a sledgehammer, you're going to get C4'd. Buck, you can sort of do it from a bit of a distance. Same with using Buck vertically. You can use Buck both up and down. Sledge, you can only sledge the floor. So Buck's gadget is much better than Sledge's. The thing is, Sledge has got the nades, so Sledge is in the strong and Buck is in the decent. And what else we got? Maybe Ying. Like Ying's Candelas can be super strong. It depends how you use them, especially which map, and if you got the space in the attack lineup to use them. But the Candelas can be really annoying to play against, depending on if you got a good Ying player, and it can really like flash out the entire site, and you can get some really easy picks with it. The problem is she's quite inconsistent. You throw a Candela into the room, and there's sometimes they may be flashed and you get a free kill, but maybe the defender plays it well, looks away at the right time, and then you get shot by that said defender. So it's a bit weird, but I'm still going to say Ying can be really potent with her Candelas. Moving on, we got let's put Twitch up there as well. She's got really her gadget not as good as Thatcher's. It can destroy utility. If you can get a Twitch drone into garage of Consulate, you can destroy Maestro cameras, you can destroy ADSs, and that's really powerful. But these situations are very niche, and in most cases you'd want to take a Thatcher or a Maverick, or you don't want to rely on a Twitch drone to open up a mirror window as part of your strat, because Twitch drones can be shot instantly, and it's very difficult to sneak it into the site, especially if like a mirror window is really far back, or you want to destroy an ADS which is right at the back of site. So it's not really reliable 100% of the time. So that's why Twitch is decent. Her gun's really good, but they've been nerfing it a little bit recently, but I still say it's up there. The high rate of fire just means it's a really strong gun as well. Then in decent, we also got IQ. Thing is, with IQ, she can spot the utility, but she can't deal with it. A lot of the times, let's say, you see an ADS, but there's no way to get around it. Even from below, you can't shoot it with IQ, but you can point it out to your teammates who can destroy it. The problem with IQ is you probably want to take, if Echo's currently in quarantine, which means we can't play him because he's just being fixed at the moment. So IQ isn't necessarily needed for countering Echo. And Valkyrie as well. A lot of the times you don't even need to bring the IQ to deal with the Valkyrie. And bringing in Ashe would just be also a lot easier most of the time, because you could just throw a flashbang yourself and also destroy a shield yourself. So that's why IQ's down there. But definitely, if she had nades, she could be really, really strong. But currently, I'd say she's just decent. We also got Jackal. he's pretty strong in the sense that if you know they're roaming heavily, you can hunt down a specific roamer and you can track him, and that defender can't really do much apart from run back to site. But the problem is like no explosives for Jackal, so he's only going to be decent. And Dokkaebi as well, same sort of thing. She had instant impact on the round, but again, when it comes to clearing utility, there's not much to use in that regard. But she's got her, she can use her ability really easily, and you can sort of like hunt down that roamer and get the early kill, which is really strong. Also, in my opinion, her guns are not great. You know, people like the DMR, and the Boss G's not used at all. But in my opinion, that's sort of preference. But yeah. Then we also got Ayana, who's really good if you don't need the sledge to bring the nades, and also to like drone out a lot of the map really quickly. So Ayana can do that, especially on large maps. Can always face check with a drone, with her hologram, and that's really a good way to clear out the map. And I think we'll may also put Gridlock in there, just because Gridlock can be better than Nomad, especially if Nomad's banned. Gridlock can be great if you're clearing top down, if you want to lock off the staircases. She's got smokes. The only issue is she's slow, and that's why she, in my opinion, doesn't really have a high pick rate in Pro League at all. Nomad is often better, but Gridlock definitely has a place, especially when you want to like lock off stairwells, I think. And moving into low tier, I know there will be a lot of disagreements here because the G8 is a really strong gun that Amaru has, but at the same time, the utility that she brings is lackluster, to say the least, and her gadget is very 50-50. You don't really want to use it because if you die flying into a window, you're going to feel like an idiot. It's a bit too risky, I'd say, to use. But her gun is really good, so she's definitely not useless, but you know, it's more of a comfort pick. And with Lion doesn't really get used an awful lot. There are some teams that really like him, but you know, his gadget, in my opinion, is really weak at the moment, which is fine. I don't think it should be buffed, but I don't think he's in a place where he's a must pick in any situation. Also, we've got Blackbeard, who's like Blackbeard is too, you know, he's in a good spot. I don't want him buffed, but there's very few situations where you will pick him just because his primary goal is to get kills and to win gunfights with his shield. And his shield's been nerfed because to make the game balanced, and therefore like is in a weird position as well now. And 1 second. We also have, we have Nook here, who I'm going to also put probably in the bottom category actually, because you don't really need to use a Nook often. There are very niche situations where you want to bring a Nook into the lineup, and you really need to know how the attackers how the defenders are setting up to use the Nook. And same with things like Glaz as well. You don't really want to use a Glaz. His gadget is used to be really strong, but now it takes a while to see through that smoke. He's in a balanced spot, but you know, the meta is currently not where he should be to make him useful. Finker as well can sometimes hurt your team, especially if the opponents are bringing smoke, which they often do, just because, you know, it can. She brings nades, yes, but I wouldn't say she's a must pick in any situation. Also, you've got Fuse here, who brings smokes, but he's just far too slow to be used. He's got a really good gun, but his gadget is really poor in the sense that only certain situations, certain bomb sites, he'll be useful, his gadget, and his he can also easily be C4'd. He's really slow. And finally, Blitz. There are a few players who can play Blitz really well, but if you don't know how to play Blitz, or you don't have a player in your team who plays Blitz, then there's likely no chance that you're going to ever touch him in competitive play. But yeah, that concludes my list. There you go. Tell me what you think. Interested to know you guys what changes you'd make or what you disagree with. But yeah, that's what I think in this current state of the meta in competitive play. That's my list. And yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for the support, and I'll see you guys next time.